Welcome back to Nick's Algebraics. So today we're going to talk about how to solve one-step word problems. Now when people see a word problem, they usually get scared and they don't know how to approach it. But what we're going to do now is we're going to go over a four-step approach to problem solving. So the first step is to understand the problem. So what that means is you have to read the problem very carefully, maybe even multiple times, and explore what the problem is about. And you have to identify what they give you, and you have to also identify what you need to find. Once you did that, you're going to want to plan the solution, or you're going to make a plan. So there are many problem-solving strategies out there. You can draw a diagram, you could write an equation, you can break the problem into little parts, or you could sketch a number line. So those are a couple of the common problem-solving strategies. Next, you want to execute the plan and solve. And then after you're done with that, you want to check the solution. And you want to see if your answer makes sense or if it fits the information in the problem. And you also want to check your units, because if the problem is asking for how long something is, you want to make sure that your units make sense, because if you wrote or 5 liters, then you know that you messed up because height isn't measured in liters. So remember to look at the units. So let's use this plan to solve this problem. William is using a 1.75 liter container to fill a 14-liter container of water. How many times will he need to fill the smaller container? So it's asking how many times he will fill the smaller container. And the smaller container is 1.75 liters. So we know that 1.75 T, because we're filling it T times, and we want to fill the 14-liter container, so it's going to equal 14. So to solve this, we have to divide by 1.75, because we have to cancel out the multiplication of 1.75. So you're going to be left with T equals 14 over 1.75. So that's going to equal 8. So he will have to fill the 1.75 liter container 8 times and pour it in the 14-liter container for it to be full. Now let's check to see if our answer is reasonable. So we can round the 1.75 to 2. So if it was a 2-liter container, we would have to fill it 7 times, because 7 times 2 that equals 14. And 7 is close to 18, so we know that our answer is reasonable. The length of an American flag is 1.9 times its width. What is the width of the flag if the length is 2.9 meters? So let's draw a diagram for this one. We have an American flag, and we know that the length is 2.9 meters, as it says right there. And we don't know the width, but we do know that the length is 1.9 times its width. So that means L is 1.9 times the width, which is W. And to find W, let's substitute 2.9 for L, because, like I said earlier, the length is 2.9 meters. And now let's divide by 1.9 on both sides to cancel it out. So we have that 2.9 meters divided by 1.9 equals W. So when you divide that out, you'll get that W approximately equals 1.5 meters. And the squiggly equal sign means approximately equal to. So let's round this and see if our answer is reasonable. So let's round the 2.9 to 3, and let's say that the width is twice as small, so 2 times instead of 1.9 times. So if the length is twice the width, then we have L is 2W. And we know L is approximately 3. So if you divide by 2, you'll get that W is 3/2, which is 1.5. So our answer makes sense. Of a group of 13 to 15-year-old girls surveyed, 225, or 9/20ths, said they talk on the telephone while they're watching television. About how many girls were surveyed? So let's draw another diagram for this one. So let's say that this circle represents all the girls that were surveyed. So about 9/20ths, so that's a little under half. So something like this-ish, roughly. So 9/20ths, or 225 of them. So this represents 9/20ths. And 9/20ths of the entire population is 225 girls. So let's write an equation using this. 9/20ths of all the girls surveyed, so 9/20ths G, is 225. So to cancel out the 9/20ths, we have to multiply by 20/9. Multiply by the reciprocal. So that's going to cancel out. So you're going to be left with G equals 20/9 times 225. And 20/9 times 225 is 500. So totally, there were 500 girls surveyed. And that makes sense because 9/20ths is about 1/2. It's about 10/20ths. And since half of it is about 225, then that means the whole thing has to be around double that, which would be 450. And we got 500, which is pretty close, so it makes sense. In the 2012 Olympics, Usain Bolt won the 200-meter dash with a time of 19.32 seconds. Write and solve an equation to find his average speed to the nearest hundredth of a meter per second. So let's write what we know. We know that the distance he traveled was 200 meters. And we know that the time it took to do that is 19.32 seconds. And we want to find his average speed. So to do that, we have to use the distance formula. And the distance formula is distance equals rate times time. And rate is basically just average speed. So to find rate, we have to get rid of t, so let's divide by t. So you're going to get that average speed, also known as rate, is distance over time. So let's plug in the distance and the time. So the distance is 200 meters, and the time is 19.32 seconds. So let's divide this, and you'll get that the rate is approximately equal to 10.35 meters per second. And remember, I round this to the hundredths place because it wants it to the nearest hundredth of a meter per second. Let's check if this makes sense. We know that distance equals rate times time. So the rate we got was 10.35 meters per second, and then time is 19.32 seconds, and the distance 200 meters. So the seconds is going to cancel out, and you're left with meters, and 19.32 times 10.35, you get about 200. So it makes sense. And that's pretty fast. It's almost as fast as me. Last question. Justin's room is 4 meters long and 4 meters wide. He paid $880 to tile his room floor. How much did Justin pay per square meter for the tile? So let's kind of draw his room. It's 4 meters long, 4 meters wide. And he paid $880 to tile the floor of his room. So we want to figure out how much did he pay per square meter. So since we're looking at square meters, let's find the area of his room. So to find the area, we have to multiply the sides together. So that's going to be 4 times 4 is 16, and meters times meters is meters squared. So the area of this room is 16 square meters. And we're trying to find the cost per square meter. So 16 square meters multiplied by the cost is going to equal $880. So we have to divide by 16 square meters on both sides to cancel it out. So that means C, the cost, equals $880 divided by 16 square meters. And $880 divided by 16 square meters, that's going to be $55 per square meter. And now let's check our work. So it was $55 per square meter, and there's 16 square meters. So that should cost $880. So meters and meters squared would cancel out, so we're left with dollars. And 55 times 16 is $880. So our answer makes sense. So I'll post a worksheet in the description below. Don't forget to subscribe, like the video, turn on your notifications, and comment down below. Adios.